So welcome to today's video. We are taking a look at how to mix Galaxy Blue from the supergranulating watercolors from Schmincke. This color is made out of two different pigments. The first one is cobalt turquoise. The Schmincke version is a PG50 cobalt turquoise, and I've mentioned that in all the other supergranulating how to mix videos already. The Schmincke PG50 version is a little bit of a specialty because normally the PG50 versions are leaning more towards green, but the Schmincke version leans more towards blue. So if you don't have the Schmincke version, a better substitute would be not to use another PG50 from another company, but a PB28 cobalt turquoise, like made from Rosa Gallery or White Nights, for example, just because those PB28 versions leaning all more toward the bluish side, so those are more suitable to exchange for the Schmincke version, because even if it's only just a little bit difference between the blue and the greenish version, you will see visible differences in mixes like that in the end. So just that you be aware of. The other pigment is PB29 ultramarine blue. I'm using the French ultramarine blue from Daniel Smith because that is a very strong granulating ultramarine blue, and yeah, you definitely should always use at least middle to strongly granulating ultramarine blue. So ultramarine blues like the Schmincke Ultramarine Finest, for example, which barely granulates at all, are absolutely not suitable for super granulating and color separation mixes. So whatever brand you're using, it should at least granulate on a middle strength, so you have visible granulation and get also a visible color separation effect in whatever mix you are doing. Yeah, the second thing I did realize, I barely put any ultramarine blue inside, and of course the cobalt turquoise is a much lighter color. So the ultramarine blue was way too much for that mix and overpowered it completely. Because I don't have the original version of this color made by Schmincke, I of course could only take photos I've seen on the internet as a reference, but of course that looks way too bluish. To be honest, it reminded me a lot of, I think it is Glacier Blue, which looks very, very similar to that. Or Glacier, no, was it Glacier Blue? I'm not quite sure, but there was a color which looks very similar, maybe Glacier Turquoise or something like that. So I had to put in lots and lots of PG50 to balance it to how the photographs looks. So definitely only put super small amounts of PB29 inside, and go and do additional PB29 if it's not enough, just because you will need tons of PG50 otherwise to get back to how it should look like if you really want to recreate that shade of color exactly. So normally in this small ceramic pan I'm using, I only mix enough to make my swatch, and then I clean it for the next video. But as I made so much now, because I had to balance it out, I will have to let it dry, because of course cobalt pigments are very expensive and I definitely don't want to throw away everything. So yeah, we'll have to need to use some other ceramic palettes I have for the next videos until I've used all of the color up. Okay, so now you could see a very subtle hint of the darker blue granulation made by the ultramarine blue, but overall the color looks a lot like the PG50 on its own, and I think I may get a little bit got to a little bit too less of the PB29 in the end. But if I'm looking at the photos in the internet, it honestly it looks like the cobalt turquoise mostly, and just seeing a little bit of ultramarine blue in some areas of the granulation. It doesn't look a lot different to me, to be honest. So those is maybe a little bit more bluish than normally. But yeah, it is just such a color again that I say it is, in my personal opinion, totally unnecessary to spend any money on it. You will see maybe a difference on a bigger scale if you're using it on big areas. But if you're using this color on very small areas, you probably won't see a lot of difference. Most people would probably think, if they're looking at that, it is just a PG50 or a PB28 cobalt turquoise on its own. So yeah, my personal opinion is spend your money not on a color like that. Buy single pigment colors. You will definitely have more out of it. That is just such a small difference between a single pigment PG50 and the Galaxy Blue that, yeah, I think in most cases you won't see a lot of difference. So why spend money on it? To be honest, there are other colors in the Schmincke supergranulating line, like for example the Galaxy Violet or the Glacier Turquoise, that looks absolutely stunning. Of course, you also can mix those very easily yourself, but at least you have a color that has a visible difference to the original pigments and have a visible strong color separation effect. You see at least 3 different colors, because you see the single pigments and you see the mixed color which is made out of those 2 pigments. So you have at least 3 color in one area, and that is what it means, in my opinion, to have a supergranulating color, where you have a visible strong supergranulation color separation effect. We don't have it with the Galaxy Blue. It's very unspectacular in comparison to other colors. So yeah, that is definitely a color I don't recommend ever buying, even if it is something you use a lot, because yeah, in my personal opinion, buy a cobalt turquoise on its own. Ultramarine blue is something everyone normally have in their collection, because it is part of nearly every pan set or tube set you can buy, so that shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, that is my opinion of the color. Of course, yours could be different, and if that's the case, please let me know if you have some special occasions where it is best to use the color, or if you do have the color, what are your experiences with it? Is the blue part more visible in reality than it is in the pictures I have found in the internet and the mix I recreated after that images, or does it look exactly like that? And of course, also, if you don't have the color, what is your opinion? And yeah, do you share my opinion that it is just not worth the money, or do you say you could imagine a lot of occasions where, how and where to use it, and what are those? That I would really be interested in. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope that the video was interesting and helpful, and yeah, also a thumbs up or a follow is very, very much appreciated, because it really helps me in the channel. So thank you so much for that. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day and to see you soon. Bye bye.